If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Hashtag no music, no intro. We are back. Saints Block Party Podcast. Adam with Ryan, a.k.a. Wolf. Back already. July's already zooming by. And almost like less, like in a couple of weeks. Or not even a couple of weeks, like in a week and a half-ish. It will be the 22nd. Saints training camp will be in full effect. Still, we got time, but still something on my radar was that that Tyler Shuck contract still not signed yet.
None of the second round picks. Everybody,
none of them.
Well, except for two.
It's just, and it's interesting because the some NFL teams are doing it where the rookies report like a week before the veterans, and like the Saints have it where like the 22nd, everybody reports at the same time. Like I know some teams have like the rookies report like on the 15th, and then the vets report on the 22nd. So it's not just a Saints issue, but I think because it being a quarterback and because he's in a quarterback competition, it's just something I'm just keeping a little eye out on.
Just watch it. Just gotta watch this.
A little eye out. But the big news that came out today, the alternate helmets revealed to go with the Saints color rush uniforms. Made me feel, bitches was nice. Wolf.
Bro, that was like the first Saints news that I've seen drop that was like generally positive for everybody. Like just everybody was like, it's like, everybody. Oh, okay. This is nice. You know what I'm saying? Might saw a few little, complaints here, complaints there, but generally it was like, oh, these things fire.
Everybody, bro. Like I don't know who posted it. I don't know if it was Repo or whatever, but I know when they hit the send on that, they was like,
Check the replies, like, bitch. Oh, finally.
It's been a while.
But enjoy it.
But listen, the helmets are fire. We talked about it in our Discord. Ross Jackson pointed out the black speckle on it. Little the detail that Mark Ingram would say.
Seasoning on there. Let's put a little seasoning on
it. Speaking of the theme of this episode, propaganda that I'm not falling for. I said it in the Discord and I said it on Twitter. For me, and I've said this before, and it's not the first time I've said it. Like the color rush uniforms, they don't do nothing for me. Like they don't move. They don't.
Ain't your zish. They're not your zish, bro.
They just not my thing. And I remember like for the longest time, like the color rush uniforms, even when Sean Payton was the head coach, bro, we used to like they had the worst record in the color rush uniforms, bro. Every time they used to wear them things, like it was. What was that? Was that the Drew Brees due to the Deion Jones Thursday night football game? Just interception to cut.
Why you bring that up? Oh my God!
maybe that's why I don't like them. Like maybe it's not even like an aesthetic thing, bro. Just like it just could be like the memory of like I don't know, bro.
See, like the memory that comes to me is like that Tampa Bay, throwing up the W, Jameis behind it. Yeah, just like that's what comes to mind for me, man. Like, but honestly, I just like the way it looks. I kind of stopped following the whole, do we win?
Fair. I don't follow it too much either.
Like, but I just know some I just can't stand. Like the what they wore last year, or was that a couple years ago with the black tops with the white pants? That was embarrassing. Like, it's embarrassing, man. Like what are y'all doing, man? Like that was. It just looked like people say like, oh, I left my other pants. I'll just throw these on. You know what I'm saying? That was embarrassing, bro. Embarrassing, man. I can't believe they signed off on that shit. Like, who signed off on it? And thought like, oh, this look good.
When I make the social media clip, I'll put the picture.
We gotta put that picture, bro. Like, just look at it. Like that one was like the flip side of the helmet release. Like I think everybody was like, man, this is gross. Can y'all put a stripe on the pants or something? Damn.
Pure white, bro. Pure
white tights. White tights. White yoga pants. Who signed off on this? I don't even remember what game that was for, bro. Like I don't even remember.
No clue, Wolf. No fucking clue.
I'm sure it was a loss. I don't even know, bro.
Probably not, bro. Come on. Probably not. So I actually wanted to put this episode out a little before, but we try to be young, keep up with the trends, and that's the thing with trends. Trends come and go. But I wanted to have this episode in terms of like the Saints edition of propaganda that like we're not falling for, because that was a thing. And then the trend's already like come and gone, but fuck it, right? We don't got anything else to talk about, so we're gonna do our version of propaganda and it doesn't have to be negative. I want to be clear with this segment, this episode. It does not have to be negative. It could be positive. It could be like like maybe something that's negatively being said about the Saints that's propaganda that we're not falling for, as well. So I'm gonna start off, and I thought about this one in the shower in terms of propaganda Saints edition. I'm not falling for the propaganda. I'm not falling for. And I know Kellen Moore has talked highly about the wide receivers and, them not necessarily, the size and not being a thing that's, that they're being caught up in. But it's one of those things. It's just propaganda that I'm not falling for. I'm not falling for it. And the reason why I'm telling you I'm not falling for it is because of this. Now, part of it is pre-Kellen, and just in terms of how the team is operated, is that in 2023, in round 2, had the Carolina Panthers, and this is the Saints saved themselves. The Saints, well, kind of, because they still drafted Isaiah Foskey. But another player that was in their cloud in round 2 that year was Jonathan Mingo, who got drafted by the Carolina Panthers that year. But had he not got drafted by the Carolina Panthers, he more likely would have been drafted by the Saints. They've been wanting to essentially, I won't say replace Michael Thomas, but have a player that is a consistent change mover, whether it be at the wide receiver position, at the tight end position, like think gritty, think can get 50 balls, consistently move the chain. It's been missing since Michael Thomas has been gone, right? So wanted to get Jonathan Mingo, didn't draft him. Going into this draft in round 1, if the Jags don't make that trade with the Browns, and if they stayed where they stayed, then they would have drafted Ashton Genty. They drafted Ashton Genty. The Raiders would have taken Kelvin Banks Jr., which then the Saints planned, and this is where I have have heard that if Tet was on the board, whether Banks was on the board for them or not, there's a strong indication that Tet would have been their pick, whether Banks was on the board for them or not, where they picked at 9. Like they really love Tetairoa McMillan.
Yeah.
And in round 3, at pick 70, we know, because we report on this podcast, that they were poised to draft Isaac Tesla from Arkansas and got jumped for the Lions. So you can't tell me that this team has not wanted to add a big body receiver weapon type, because they've been wanting to for the last 3+ years. It just hasn't come to fruition. So they may
try to get Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, like they have been trying to address this, and they've had very, 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 very small minimum conversations very early, about 2 months ago, with Keenan Allen. So I'm not falling for the propaganda and I'm not saying that they don't like the receivers that they have in the room, but don't tell me that they are completely satisfied and don't want to add a bigger weapon or a bigger body type of weapon to the receiver room.
Right. We know they want that. Every team wants that dynamic in their wide receiver room, you know? And they got Peoples, Jones, they got who else? I don't even know. Like the cupboard is bare. And it's just like we talked about
Bub memes.
Bub's memes. I'm hoping for Bub memes, bro. Like, but it's just a dynamic that's not there for this wide receiver group. It's just not. So I mean, Kellen Moore, you can say all he want. I expect him to say like, "Oh, we don't need to add this. We don't need to add that." Of course, he's gonna say that, but not buying it. Propaganda.
Not buying it.
One, this isn't propaganda being put out, but I'm going to nip it in the bud right now. If they try to put it out. Because someone was in my mentions the other day.
Yep.
Saying, oh, no, then they won't have fans at camp in California because the league has rules and, they got teams already in that market. You can't. Yep. You can't have fans in there because it's because not collusion, but it's other team market. You can't have one market going against another market in the same market. Blah 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 blah. Stop it. We know this is false. Not that the rule is false, but that is not what's restricting the Saints from having fans at camp in California. Now I don't know. Are they going to be back at UC Irvine again? I don't know for sure. I don't know exactly what location they're going to be in.
I believe so.
But that's not what's restricting it. Like Dennis Lucia, we had a video out, last year, him saying himself like that. Those rules is not what's prevented from happening. It's literally a choice. It's just a choice by the team, and they don't want to do it. He mentioned something about the logistics of the situation. What?
What? But the Mario and Gail flying to Paris?
I'm going to Paris to promote Saints, on the international scale. And then Loomis said, last year that, we don't have fans out there like that. Like, oh, really?
But
because our download numbers reflect the difference,
But Ross Jackson and
John Hendricks.
And John Hendricks put a whole live show together last year.
And off the rip. And they had fans there.
Crazy.
Ain't there somebody, the person that owned the house from Friday, a Saints fan or something like that?
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh, yeah.
And then the Saints social media doing the whole thing.
Did a whole segment on it. John DeShazier interviewed the person and everything. It was weird, Wolf. It was weird, bro.
Stop it. So just nip that in the bud right now. So just in case they put something out there like that, don't believe it. They made a choice to not welcome any fans that are living in California to camp.
It's just sad, man. It's sad.
A team that's like being like picked as like the 32nd team in the league in power rankings and stuff like that. A team that's like its Q rating is the lowest I've seen in like more than half my life. You know what I'm saying?
Like Sean Payton was almost a coach for like 20 plus years. It's been the lowest it's been in like almost like 20 plus years, bro.
Like high school. Like I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like it's. But okay, they're like Anyway, moving on.
All right, let's try to. All right, let me turn it positive. Negative propaganda I'm not falling for is the demise of AK.
Ooh.
Reason I say that, we saw glimmers of it, a lot of glimmers of it last year with Clint Kubiak when he had a healthy offensive line. We saw that resurgence of what healthy AK behind a healthy functional offensive line looks like. If everything, it's contingent on a lot of things going well, right? It's contingent on Banks playing well as a rookie. It's contingent on Trevor Penning at least being decent at left guard, and McCoy being healthy. But Kellen Moore bringing what he took from Philly and implementing that to some degree with AK. I'm not saying he's Saquon Barkley, that's what I'm not saying, but implementing some of those elements with what he brought from Philly with, to the Saints offense with AK. I think this demise for him as a player and as a running back. I know he's older. I know he's getting towards maybe the twilight of his career. I still think you can see a good to great football player on Sundays that should be able to help, whether it be Rattler, whether it be Shuck, make the game easier for them as young quarterbacks.
I agree, bro. I agree. Like I'm interested to see how the rest of the running back room shakes out, because you don't want I don't think you want AK getting like 250, 300 carries, but you want him to get touches. You want him to get touches, especially in the pass game, still in the run game. This is gonna be interesting to see, man. Like, because telling you, like, if the offensive line didn't go in shambles last year and he didn't get hurt down the stretch, like he was putting together like one of his best seasons he's had as a Saint. Like as a Saint, like from a running back standpoint, bro. Like at one point he was averaging like 5.5 yards a carry, and then it went down, of course, as the injuries mounted and stuff like that. But like, man, if he could just tap back into that, if the offensive line blocking is good, I could see it. It might not be over for him. Now, running backs, usually they say once they hit 30, it's over. But AK an alien, bro. AK
alien, man.
Been an alien, man. Been an alien.
And like you said, and this might, it depends on who you ask. Like the propaganda might be negative, might be positive. But if Kendrick could help alleviate the load a little bit, just take the load off a little bit and help him keep him a little refreshed and healthier, that's a whole nother thing, though. That's a whole
nother level of propaganda right there, boy. Shit.
Boy. I gotta see it, bro. I gotta see it. I can't say that.
Positive propaganda.
What if everything you've been taught about happiness is wrong? We chase careers, approval, more stuff, hoping it'll finally make us feel fulfilled, but it never sticks. What if happiness isn't out there, but already inside you, just waiting to be unlocked? Discover the book, The Happiness Experiment. Every person has a unique happiness type, and when you understand yours, everything shifts. You'll stop chasing and start creating joy on your own terms. Discover your happiness type with a free happiness type assessment. Go to myhappinesstype.com. That's myhappiness.type.com. It takes just a minute and it might change your life. Then grab your copy of The Happiness Experiment at Books A Million. This isn't just a book, it's a practical framework, a journey inward. It's a tool to help you reconnect with the happiness that's been waiting inside you all along. Pick up The Happiness Experiment and start your happiness experiment today.
Well, one piece of propaganda, I retweeted your buddy Doug Farrar. I retweeted him.
Nigga, fuck you.
I retweeted him because he was, digging into the tape of Spencer Rattler. And I the national media, they just, 90% of them just, saw Spencer Rattler last year. I was just like, no, I'm not even watching it. Man, they won a game. Every time I looked, it was something bad happening. They dude's trash. So just the way he's talked about, I just noticed by most of the national media, it's just it's kind of written off, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not buying that propaganda, man. I know what I saw. I saw a guy who showed some positive things in I can't even explain how bad the situation was. I was trying to crunch the numbers, but the Saints had the most snaps by different individual players than anybody in the league. I was able to calculate it. It was more just different individual players had the amount of snaps that played for the Saints last year. It was insurmountable. And just about all of it was on offense. You had some defense injuries, but it was all on offense, bro. Offense.
That's what Mickey be speaking to Gail in her ear, bro.
No. Mickey, it's your goddamn fault, bro. You build the depth, fool.
Yes. He leave that part out though. He don't get the full picture. Though.
You don't want to wait until the season with a razor thin offensive line and a razor thin running back ring and a razor thin running back group. But anyway, wide receiver group. But that's the propaganda I'm not buying, man. Spencer shows something. We gonna see it come to fruition this year. Will he get an honest shot at playing with starting group? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. He might be one of those stories where we always wonder, I wonder what he would have looked like, if he had really been given another chance. But I know what I saw, bro. I saw a dude that showed some positive things and some warts and some, and he was a rookie. He was a rookie. That's not an excuse, but he didn't go in and he didn't run away with it. We spoke for the reasons why. Some was on him, some was external. But I don't buy the propaganda that he was just garbage, just trash.
One of the clips, I don't remember. Can't remember what team. I think it was maybe the Raiders, and it was a clip that Doug Farrar had posted, and Caesar just gets beat.
Smoked.
Just smoked off the line, bro. Just smoked, bro. Disgustingly.
It's never good when the guard is facing the quarterback
nigga, run! I don't know what.
Suck.
My bad. Right. Just smoked off the line, and Spencer stays in there and just delivers a just dime to Kevin Austin Jr., bro.
Kevin Austin Jr. This a dime. Pressure is this dude is coming in free, coming 100 miles an hour, and he stands there in the barrel, looking it down, eyes downfield, and makes a dart throw. Those are the things that you look at and it's man.
The trait.
That's something there, bro. That's a trait. That's a trait because not every quarterback doing that. One of the quarterbacks might be on the roster, but I'm just saying.
Whoa. Can we see him play? Can we see him play?
We're going to see him play, bro.
He'll play.
But yeah, that's propaganda. I'm not buying. Spencer Rattler ain't garbage.
Okay. I got one. This is a positive one too. Propaganda I'm not buying. The Saints. Oh, this is a tough one. I gotta be careful with it though. The Saints should not trade Chris Olave.
Okay.
I'm going to preface that by saying, unless they get a fucking stellar trade offer.
Yeah.
Because if a team blows them away with the trade package, like you gotta think about it. But if a team's offering you like a second round pick for Chris Olave, I'm sorry. Like,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Because I got two propagandas in one. One, they shouldn't trade Chris Olave unless it's a stellar trade offer. The second propaganda I'm not buying is I'm not buying that he still can't be a wide receiver one in this league. I'm channeling my inner Matt Harmon a little bit. I'm channeling my inner Matt Harmon a little bit. Shout out Matt Harmon, Reception Perception. Check him out. Friend of the show. Kind of a little similar to like Rattler a little bit. Can we talk about Chris Olave's situation as a wide receiver since he's been in the league with the Saints?
Bro.
Now, you could also say like a true dog wide receiver. Like you look at Nuke Hopkins. Like Nuke Hopkins put up numbers no matter who the quarterback was. That like there are like those unicorns that can and have done that.
Yeah.
And Chris is not at that level. But even as a rookie, he came in the league started with Jameis, then he went with Andy Dalton. He put up and I know it's like it's looked as like, oh, it's just 1,000 yards. He put up 1,000 yard receiving yards with Andy Dalton
as a rookie.
Marvin Harrison Jr., who got drafted 4th overall last year, didn't with Kyler Murray. I believe in the talent that Chris Olave possesses. And I still believe that if he is paired with a high-level quarterback, and that quarterback may not be on the Saints roster right now. I'm sorry to say it. Sorry, like it may not be Rattler. It may not be Shuck. It might be. Hopefully it is. But I still believe that he may have a career arc similar to a Terry McLaurin, similar to a Nico Collins, that once they got a guy in place, a stud in place, their career blew up.
Yeah.
Now, I get it. He had that. Unlike those two players, he has the myriad of the concussion issues, and that's a huge thing. Huge thing. I don't want to leave that part of it out because that's a huge thing. But the talent is 100% there on Chris Olave as a player.
No question, bro. I suggest people go read Matt Harmon's Reception Perception. He just did the write-up on Chris Olave from 2024. The write-up, I know people like the charts, but go read the write-up. Like the write-ups are super important. The dude has everything. He beats press, he beats man, he beats zone, tight coverage, off coverage. Like he does it all, bro. Like if he could just shake, I mean, I don't even know how to like word it. Like if he could just not be concussed, however you do that, I don't know how you avoid those things. It could help by the quarterback not putting them in adverse situations all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe Derek Carr not being the quarterback of the team.
Derek Carr might not be in there. But look, in playing wide receiver, there are going times you just, like it's 3rd and 8, and you're going to have to go in there and just catch and hit the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like or sometimes you're gonna just try to go get a first down when when you're putting your body on the line. That's football, But I'm just hoping that just kind of like Brandon Cooks, the guy he's playing with now.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Cooks was like literally getting carted off the field multiple times, and it was looking very dire for him. But then, he was able to put together a long stretch of years where he didn't have to deal with that anymore. So I'm hoping the same happens for Chris Olave because, like you said, the talent is there, and it's like he wants to play for the Saints. He spoke about it recently. Like, he wants to be a Saint. He wants to remain a Saint. Like, to me, it just makes no sense to get rid of that, to trade that. Because if you do, you're just going back to the well to try to find a replacement for that.
Chris Olave, bro.
It's like all you're doing. It's like, you got one right there. You just got to hope. This season is just so crucial. It's just so crucial for the Saints to make a decision and him to just make his decision, because I'm actually going to be literally praying for his safety, bro. I just want him to have a full, healthy season, man. So, when it's all said and done, all we got to worry about was what was done on the field, the production on the field. That's all I wanted to worry about.
That's it.
Now, we've done the positive propaganda. Another one I want to nip in the bud before it even comes. I don't want to hear any reports out camp, which I don't think I will, but if I do, I don't want to hear nothing about Isaiah Foskey Isaiah Foskey's been, showing some pressures in camp early,
No tropes.
I don't care if it's against second team, third team. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. Like, you got to show me in preseason games, because I'm telling you, if somebody could pull this up, go get all the preseason snaps of every player in the NFL. I guarantee Foskey has played the most preseason snaps of any NFL player in the last 2 years. And you know what he got to show for it? Nothing. No hits, no hurries, no sacks, no nothing. He got to show me.
Bruh. Why is Hannah Foskey making this man slave rations, bro? Slave rations, whoop.
Shout out to Hannah, man. Shout out to Hannah, bro. She keeping my man going, bro. Because I just don't want to hear it, bro. Like, I don't want to hear it. You got to show me in a game. I don't want to hear nothing. The thing is, if I hear something about Foskey, like, putting heat on the quarterback in camp, then I'm worried about who he going against. Like, hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not Fuaga or Banks. I'm like, oh, what? What's wrong with Banks?
This nigga sick. Mark said, make that dude eat gruel. Gruel, Mark.
Gruel, bro. Great Depression food, bro. Like, what?
Nigga, we might be there soon. We might be there soon again the way shit going right now, bro.
You ain't lying. Might need Hannah. So gotta make that, Hannah.
Vanderbroski said we could get I don't know about a haul. I think a team is going to come hard for Olave, especially towards like the preseason. Like, bro, like
what does that tell you?
And it's gonna be. And here's the thing: I can tell you right now, the teams that are going to come hard for Olave are going to be good fucking teams. They're not going to be the bad gross teams. They're going to be good playoff teams, like contender type of teams. But I think this season he's more valuable to have to give these young quarterbacks a weapon and to find out if we have a franchise quarterback in the building. Here's the thing where I feel like Olave is even super important. Olave to me is, yes, he's important for the quarterbacks in the building, but to me, he's even more important for maybe the quarterback who might be coming next year.
Exactly.
If we kick me in a buck, like, to me, we were talking about it in our Discord. If there's a chance they pick in top 3, top 4, if Arch, Cade, Garrett, Sellers, you don't think a young quarterback of that ilk, if they're picking that high, couldn't benefit from having Olave on the team, especially if Olave is healthy? And you don't think that makes, like, that's why the whole when the whole Cam Ward trade talks started, people were like, well, let's include Chris Olave in the trade.
Like, who you want to throw him to?
So you want Cam Ward to be throwing to Brandon Cooks and Rashid Shaheed?
On another note, this is Shaheed's final year. Like he is a free agent next year, bro. He is a free agent and could, like, if he has a healthy season, he gonna see some money.
Here's the thing, money. I saw this. Larry Holder made this point talking about the Taysom Hill contract. The Saints have $23 million in cap space, Ryan.
23 in July.
Speaking of things we haven't seen in almost 20 plus years. Like, what?
And like, I'm not hoping they do this, but if Taysom Hill was to be released, that's just like a straight cut. Like that's $10 million extra. Not a ton of dead money or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're doing it, but I'm just saying.
I don't. Yeah. I had one. Alfred said, I'm not worried. I ain't worried about no next year quarterback. I hope we get a winning season this year. Bump all that top 5
winning season. Winning. Want a winning season this year?
Okay. I mean, look, listen, Alfred.
Like, hey, bro.
Listen, we got to win
go,
season.
Baby.
That means revenue for our podcast. Let's get it.
I'm not rooting for a losing season, but I also got to just look at reality. It's hard to predict that right now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that'll change, man. But reality is looking like a top 5 pick right now.
Giovanni said, I think the beginning of this tough schedule is a good thing. Going through some adversity so early in the season might be a good thing for this young team. We'll find out real quick. We'll find out real quick.
I would rather not the adversity. It would have been nice to have,
Right.
I'm cool with the Cardinals. Not saying the Cardinals bad, but I'm cool with the Cardinals week 1. But it'd be nice to have like another week 2 Panthers. Give me that. Maybe I don't know, somebody else. But god damn, that start to the season rough. God,
rough.
Like you can't even get your barrels under you. Like, it take a while to just kind of, you're still trying to figure out what team you are. In that first month.
A whole new coaching staff. You either start in a second-year quarterback or a rookie quarterback, a rookie left tackle, a player who's never played left guard before. Let's roll.
You're right though. They facing adversity early, man. You gonna find out
real quick.
Gonna learn today.
Brandon Broski said, if that Asante Samuel comes through, I'm going to be all board for the playoff train. Playoffs?
I'm ready for Asante Samuel. They need to make that happen.
They do. I think because he had his surgery, and so I think they're just trying to. I mean, not just the Saints. I know other teams are in play, but I think
everybody watch,
waiting to get that. Which is weird though, because like if the team really wanted to, like they could have just signed him before the surgery,
right?
And just been like, all right, we're just gonna sign you.
We did it with Chase Young.
Literally did the same fucking thing with Chase Young, bro. Same. I don't know if it's the exact same neck problem, but it's like, like it's neck is neck. Am I right? Oh, I had a good one. Oh, propaganda I'm not falling for. Kind of speaking, this is not necessarily Saints related, but like maybe it is. How do I word this? Well, you talked about it with the Todd McShay thing, but this was kind of something I had kind of hinted at before, just kind of what I had been told a little bit. Just that if a certain team a certain professional football team in New Orleans end up maybe having a number 1 overall pick, the propaganda that I wasn't falling for is that I wasn't 100% sure that Arch Manning would return back to school at Texas.
Boy. Boy.
And then you said something in our Discord about Todd McShay and the Manning Academy. You maybe had a good, because like I was always under the impression that Arch would just go back to school and kind of go, be on the Manning path. And then I was dropped that little nugget. It was a rumor. I will call it. I'll keep it a rumor, not for certain that a rumor. But then you're just kind of hearing like maybe he might declare if he has a great season, and like maybe especially if a certain team has a certain high pick.
Fascinating, boy.
And you talked about this, like what is super fascinating to me. And we were talking about this before we started recording in our Discord. We don't know how these guys are going to work out. We don't know how it's going to play out. But the amount of talent that this quarterback class possesses, and this is why so many people were just like, "Don't trade up for Cam Ward. Just wait for next year's draft class. Just wait till next year's draft class." You got potentially Sellers, Cade, Garrett Nessmeyer, potentially Arch, Drew Aller, maybe Avery Johnson. That's 6.
And who knows? Who knows? Lurking in the
who might rise,
out,
rise, fall, what have you. I just named 6 off top. Oh boy, we were talking about Discord. Like we might have to like watch some college football games this year. We might. I'm already planning on doing some live streams as we watch some college football just to watch the quarterbacks, bro. Because
man.
I think we have to we have to put our eyes on these young quarterbacks because like we don't know what we have to be aware. Just let me
got to be aware. It's just the reality of where the Saints are right now. And who knows? Maybe they win 8 games and completely. And if that happens, that means one of the quarterbacks are looking really good. And if that happens, like awesome, like let's fucking go. You know what I'm saying? But
Vanderbrosi said Kubnik versus Nuss week 1 of college football. Yes, sir. Yes, I know. We will be doing a live stream, Zoom live stream for our Patreons. It will be streamed to YouTube, and we will be watching. Tuned in. Here's the great thing. I don't give 2 shits about LSU. I don't give 2 shits about Clemson. Bliss.
I'm just watching quarterbacks, baby.
Bliss. Bro, it's supposed to be crazy. We're going to be watching college football. There's going to be so many young players we see with Jews. We're going to be like, what is this? What is this? Any other propaganda that you can think of that comes to mind? You can even do like one, like give me one NFL propaganda. I have one that just instantly came to mind.
I don't know if this is propaganda, but I just got this feeling that the Chiefs won't be in the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
It's just a feeling.
I can see that.
No logic to it. No logic to it whatsoever. No logic to it. Mahomes the dog. I just feel like the Chiefs might be going through their, that kind of middle era the Patriots had, but it was still good. But it was just like, just got some chinks in the armor. Whoa! My bad. I just feel like that's where they're at. Where they're at right now. But you go with what you got.
It's been the one I've been the one for the last 5 years. Bill's not making the Super Bowl, bro.
That man is on the ass at the neck, bro.
Have I been wrong?
Not at all, bro. Not at all.
Nope.
I think that, and I really don't think they make it this year either.
No,
I really don't.
So if you don't got the Chiefs making the Super Bowl, then who do you have? If you don't have the Bills making Super Bowl, then who makes it the Super Bowl for you in the AFC?
Man, I think the Ravens get there this year, bro. I think the Ravens. Maybe it's the hope in me because I just want to see Lamar make it there.
Because if it's not this year, bro, I don't.
Man,
then win.
Then win exactly. Like I think this is their shot.
Like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, well, 2 weeks ago, they had aired the NFC Championship game and then the Saints Super Bowl back to back on a Saturday or whatever, and I just watched them run, and it was funny. I was getting more nervous and anxious watching those games than I had like ever been watching any Saints game in like the last I can't even tell you. Like for sure since like the no call game, like any Saints game since the no call game. And Jay was like, she's like, it's like you still get like nervous and anxious, like even though you know the outcome. And I'm like, yeah, and I can't even explain to you why. Like, and watching those games and like seeing like our team win it just hit home. Like, man, it's so fucking hard. It is so fucking hard to have your team go through the rigors and everything it fucking takes to win, to go through and win a championship. It is hard, bro. It is so fucking hard.
It's unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable. That's why teams that do it like multiple times, and it's like it's always. I was like,
I don't want to hear a fucking thing from you. Well, usually it's having like a stud fucking quarterback. That really, but even the Saints had Drew Brees, and they still even. Well, we know why, but anyway, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
But it's hard, man. It's hard. That's also another thing we potentially thought about doing is like watching like the end, like the Vikings NFC Championship game, like as a group watching the Super Bowl, bruh. To this day, that is the most stressed out I have ever been watching. Like I was less stressed for the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
but that game,
I would never. Like, I had never been on my knees, like, praying. Because usually I'm like, I'm not about to pray for no football game, but I was like, please. And it was such a stressful game because even like once they got even after the Tracy Porter pick, which was just like one of the just greatest plays I ever seen in my life.
That overtime, that offensive possession was hell, bro.
Every single play was contested or had to be challenged or reviewed or whatever. And it's like, what in the hell?
And even the Garrett Hartley field goal, watching it back, like it wasn't a long field goal, but like when I watched it in real time, that bitch felt like it was like a 60-yarder, bro.
That thing's long, bro. That thing was
was like what 44. It was like not long, but like watching it in real time, that bitch, it felt like it was like a 60-yard field goal.
I'm just glad I don't live in whatever alternate universe where we didn't win that. I'm just thankful for that, bro. I'm so thankful. Like I don't care what they say, a bounty gate, whatever. I don't care. We won that motherfucker.
Oh, what? I mean, especially considering what we know about Brett Favre now, like we should have laid more into him, bro.
Hey, boy, sharp at. Bow.
Oh, whoa. I know where he at. Mark said, propaganda, I'm not buying. Broncos missing the playoffs. Is people saying that they're going to miss the playoffs?
Well, I mean, they're in a tough division, man. But
division nasty, bro.
Nasty, bro. Like, they could probably win. I mean, we've seen Sean Payton have good teams that's just like... So, it wouldn't surprise me, but I think they make it. Like, that. I think that defense is going to be super good this year, bro.
That
defense.
That Broncos team overall is just stacked, bro.
Which is crazy because it was like a trash team just a few years ago. Just like it's like the Saints right now. They were literally like the Saints are right now, like just a forgettable, who cares what's going on in that team type of team. It was just shows you that, good coaching and, just making a few right picks of players, man, it could change things quick, like quicker than you think. It could really flip things.
Second-year quarterback.
Second-year quarterback, bro. Who people still is like, Bo Nix, But, man, look, like, that dude, that dude was playing, especially down the stretch. That dude was Sean Payton was getting the most out of that dude, bro.
I'm going to end on this note that I found something very interesting. I think it was he's blocked, but it was PFF Steve was interviewing former Raiders GM Tom Telesco, I believe.
Mm.
I saw that it was a clip on TikTok. And he basically asked him kind of straightforward, had Michael Penix fail, like if the Falcons hadn't taken him, if he fell in the draft, would he have been the pick for the Raiders?
Mm.
And Tom Telesco basically said, like, kind of like where he was as a GM, like he was kind of like fighting for his job and blah, blah, blah. He basically said like they wouldn't have drafted him. They probably still would have drafted Brock Bowers, which would have meant that he would have fallen right to the Saints.
Ooh.
Which also would have meant that, for what we know, he would have been the Saints pick at 14 last year. That's a whole fascinating sliding doors.
That'd be crazy. That would have been crazy.
Bruh, like, could you imagine us on draft night if that would have fucking happened, bruh?
Oh, man. That is like, oh, man, it just would have been crazy. Derek Carr, DA. Oh. Speaking of that, I got to watch that quarterbacks.
Oh, yes.
Quarterbacks Netflix show.
Yes. Alfred said the Chargers and the Broncos are predicted to be trash. Who were predicting the Chargers and the Broncos to be trash?
The Chargers?
What? I'm confused. I don't know. I don't know where y'all get Chargers from.
Be tough. They're gonna be tough this year, bro.
Every team in that
running game.
Every team in that division, even the Raiders, are like, no one's gonna want to enjoy playing the Raiders this year.
No, Pete gonna have that team. The only thing with the Raiders is it's still like lack talent on defense, but I think Pete gonna have them boys flying around, man. Like, it's gonna be that division is gonna be crazy.
Yes.
And then they got Ashton Genty. Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying. And they got Chip Kelly, who is like his career arc has been fascinating. Mm-hmm. Extremely fascinating. The way he's like reinvented himself completely.
Exactly. That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did.
Oh, he said, I'm talking about going into the 2024 season. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
All right. That was it. We talked about propaganda, Saints propaganda that we're not buying, positive, negative, hit on it all. Hope y'all appreciate it. Hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll be back probably next week. We still need to do our Rookie of the Week series for Patreons, dive into Vernon Brighton in our series, but we're taking it slow. It's summertime, enjoying. Actually got to get some Vernon Brighton fucking clips, bro. Sleep.
Put me to sleep.
But we appreciate y'all for checking in, watching. Please like and subscribe. We'll be back next week. We're close to training camp. Training camp is...
We getting there, babe. We getting there.
Training camp is right around the corner. Like, literally, as next week approaches, training camp is a week after next. 22nd. So it's not far away. But we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We'll be back next week. With that, we are out.
Peace.
Sterling Holmes of Fansided, joined now by entrepreneur and philanthropist known for his commitment to advancing rational philosophy, as well as an author who just wrote The Happiness Experiment, a revolutionary way to increase happiness. Carl Barney. Carl, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks, Sterling.
Yeah. Folks listening, by the way, are you ready to take control of your future, significantly increase your own happiness, and transform lives? Then this conversation is for you. After a terrifying brush with death, Carl created the innovative idea of prequests, or happiness grants, inheritances provided to the grantees while the grantor was still alive. First and foremost, Carl, how did you come up with the idea of prequesting?
Well, there were three things that happened. One was a terrifying plane crash. I was on this plane, about 100 passengers on it. We took off and started climbing for altitude. Suddenly there was this massive explosion in the back of the plane. I thought the whole back of the plane had blown off. And then total silence, no engines, no air conditioning, no noise at all. And then suddenly the plane started plunging to the ground. Absolutely knew I was going to die. But I'm here, so a miracle occurred, but you'll have to read the book to find out what happened. But that was the first thing. The second thing that happened is my sister's husband was dying, and he's given 6 months to live, and very sad about it. So she was living in England, so I flew over to England, and I said, Janet, you're in my will, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring your inheritance, your bequest, forward and make it a prequest. I'm going to give it to you now, so that you can use it and your husband can use it and fulfill their final wishes. And she was blown away. I mean, she was totally stunned. She cried, she laughed, she loved it. And they used it, and it really was good for them in the final days of his life. Well, my older brother was sitting there with his wife. And I turned to my older brother and I said, well, look, since I'm doing this for Janet, why don't I do this for you too? And why don't you have this and it's your bequest? And he said, oh, that's great. Thank you. So generous. But his wife went ballistic. Wife said, this is too much money. It's wrong. I don't want anything to do with it. And she stormed out of the room. And so I said, whoa, that's a surprise. So that caused me some concern, which I'll tell you about later. Anyhow, that was the number two. Now, the third thing that happened was I'm going over my financial investments. And I said to my accountant and my planner, I said, look, there's all this money on here. It's not being used by me. It's not being used to do any good for anybody. He said, well, it's making more money. I said, I don't care about making more money. I want to know how this money is going to be used for my benefit, my happiness, and for others' happiness. And so that's when I started to think about making these prequests to 20 people in my will. And that's what I did.
Well, with such a long and distinguished background in business, as you're mentioning right here, what was the primary factor that inspired you to write a book on happiness instead of maybe a book on business or something in that genre?
Well, it was the happiness experiment and seeing what my friends, employees, former employees, what these 20 people did. So I sat down with them and I went through, I told them what I was going to do and so forth. And then I saw them doing their happiness planning, working with a happiness coach. I saw what their plans were. And then I saw them experiencing, increasing their happiness, what they were doing. And I said, this is really good. These guys are doing great. I need to write about this so other people can do the same thing. They can follow these people, what they did, their plans, what they did to fulfill their plans. And I thought it was a good idea to get into the world. So I wasn't planning to write a book. This has just happened. So
that's incredible. Just organic.
Exactly. I mean, this happened in real time with real people and real results.
When did you realize that the prequests were more than just a one-time gift? And as you're mentioning, a longer-term commitment, if you will, and again, as you titled the book, The Happiness Experiment.
Yeah. When I sat down with people, I said to them, I want you to make the best use of this money. And so this money is going to really help you in your life become more successful, help you become more happy. And I said, what I'd like you to do is write a plan. And they said, well, what kind of plan? And I said, well, a happiness plan. And they said, what's a happiness plan? I said, okay, I'll get you a happiness coach who can help you make a happiness plan. And so I realized that it wasn't just the one time the gift. So they had a happiness coach who helped them figure out happiness habits, which they could pursue all the year. So, and the coach stayed with them for the year and helped them implement their plan. So it was a package. It's not just dumping money on somebody or saying, hey, here's a bunch of money. That's there's a Hollywood thing. That's not what this is about. This is a thoughtful, careful, deliberate program. It's the money given in the right time for the right person. It's the planning and it's the coaching that all comes together.
Well, since we're on the subject of planning and coaching, the grants that help reshape and change lives, which obviously in today's day and age, so timely, what is your hope that the book can do for your readers?
I know that you're big on sports. Okay, so I've read you about it. In sports, everything is planned. Everything is precise. Every play, every game is thoughtful. And then they have the plan, they execute, they train for the plan, they work the plan. It's the same thing with happiness. If you plan and you pursue and you develop happiness habits, just as you do in sports. And in sports, you become great and you can become a lot happier when you do this same process in life. So my hope is this, and this is why I wrote the book, for two reasons. Anybody that follows the book can increase their happiness. They make a decision, they put together a plan, they pursue the plan, they will become happier. And I wanted them to read these stories so they could follow in their footsteps. The other thing is people who are wealthy, who have a lot to give, get them thinking about the people that they're grateful for. We know we don't become rich and famous and successful without a lot of help. And that thing is true for you too. That you had a lot of people that did nice things for you. And then what you do is recognize them. You can put them in your will and say, I'm going to tell them thank you when I'm dead. But then you say, why should I wait? Don't wait. Bring it forward. Sit down with them now and say, look, I've got the money. Here, take some and use it for your own happiness. And it ripples. It goes out into the community, their friends and family. And it'd be great if it got into the world.
If more people embraced pre-questing and intentional happiness planning, how do you think society as a whole would change?
Well, I think it would have to change. There would be much more focus on deliberate, intentional increasing of your own happiness and those that you care about. And then it would ripple and spread into the community. Now, if a lot of people in the world, particularly the wealthy people, said, look, I didn't get here alone. There's the friends and employees, former employees. These are the people who helped me. And I'm going to express how grateful I am and give them a happiness grant, but require a plan, a thoughtful plan, give them a coach, do it well, do it deliberately. And, if that was happening all over the world, which I'd love to see, with all of the wealthy people in the world, it would really make a difference. And I hope it does.
Well, and again, this conversation right here, it's all about how to take control of your future, increase your own happiness, and transform lives. These are all very important things, all things that should be taught in school. These are things that folks need to. How often do I use calculus right now, Carl? I'm not using calculus right now. How often am I doing biology right now, Carl? Not too often. But what I could do is obviously take control of my future, create my own happiness. And you can do that, especially with the help of Carl's book, The Happiness Experiment. Again, a revolutionary way to increase happiness by Carl Barney. Carl, I really appreciate it.
I love talking with you. Thank you. It made me very happy. And can we point out that the book is available for pre-order wherever books are sold, but Amazon will be able to take the orders, and they can go to happinessexperiment.com and buy the book pre-order.
Carl, appreciate it.
If you're a podcast host, listen up. This one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle. And I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.